as in the options that they can select SIP30 connector, for example, right? Assume nobody knows what that is, right? So yeah, let's say the first sentence or the first 3 words that describes any option has to be as simple as possible, and possibly those icons can also help in the translation of the options. Yeah, those are my first 2 cents, let's say. So I mean, we're keen to collaborate also on that connector, Sudo, especially on the anti-spoofing part of it as well, because we want to be able to prove that, right, to show that that's capable. But yeah, maybe that comes in second spot after how do you onboard users with a temporary wallet, and make sure that they're aware that it's temporary. That will probably be the top 2, let's say, that we're thinking about right now.
So for you, would you say maybe it just made me think of this, like a create express wallet button? So like even to just bypass a lot of that, just to go directly into like the burner creation or something like that, right? Like a one-click kind of thing like that. I think you're able to do that, right?
Yeah, and then you download the what is it? This the private key in your downloads, right? It goes there. We chatted about that, and then you can encrypt, or well, you can lock it with the password that the user defines. Yeah, we were playing around with that. I think there's something there. Is that what you mean? That was the burner wallet, right? Or is that the express wallet?
Well, either one. Yeah, the whole idea. I guess the express wallet, you still have to first initialize it, right? But the whole idea is that you could like recall it later with just a password, or like the QR code scan and a password. So like that's like the express part. Like maybe you had a pre-filled wallet in some sense, and you give the user a QR code that already has a password attached to it, and they scan the QR code and whatever. I don't know what use cases we might be able to think of, but yeah, like the burner and express, like the express is like one step above the burner wallet, kind of, right? It's like you still have the mnemonic initially, kind of like you still have to like create the wallet with the phrase, but the whole idea is to not have to put in the seed phrase or the mnemonic phrase when you want to restore the wallet. So it's like making that process easier. But yeah, you still have to maintain custody of the keys in some fashion. It's just stored in a different means. So yeah, I guess what I'm saying is like when you're saying that the person wants to like one-click mint, right? As close to the one-click mint experience as possible for a new user, right? Would it be beneficial for you to just go into like a burner wallet and then
So, but I mean, that the thing is, we don't want to be the custodian, but I mean, that's fine if they downloaded something on their browser, right, that allows them to come back to their wallet. Unless,
so I guess what I'm saying is like as an option here, like instead of maybe saying hardware import SIP30 or hardware wallet or whatever, maybe one of the options you would like to see is like a Express Connect or something analogous to that, right? Or like where it's like new user Express Connect, where like I'm a brand new user and I want the fast experience, and it's kind of like cutting around all of the other fluff here, right? Is that something that you would look for, or is something in this what this experience already affords, and maybe all like optimizing the user interface? Is it more adapting what's here, or maybe adding?
Well, do you have that burner wallet, express wallet option there already, or was it not there yet? In your options, didn't you have?
You could technically do that as create new, but you would have to like select the burner wallet, right?
Yeah, no. So that I would switch to burner wallets. So if I had to choose one, create new versus burner, from what I see from the feedback we're getting from users, is they prefer get me in, just
Right.
give me the burner, and perhaps they need to be then separated, like you were suggesting. Yeah. So
Roger.
like people want that like one click go, and what exactly the name is, whether it's test now, create account later, whatever. That's an option people are looking for, and that's yeah. I think I continuously underestimate how impatient people are when they're trying this or when they're using tech. Like I continuously underestimate that, because we're in Cardano for quite a long time, and like all these principles make sense. But when you're at the very, very beginning and you haven't gone deep into, oh yeah, and there's so many added benefits of using this tech, and there's this whole community and blah blah blah, the only thing they're thinking about is the single USP that you've provided for whatever platform it is. So ARP radio, take control of your music, register it. All right, let's go. And that's the thing that they're focused on, like that singular purpose that you're packaged is, I want to now register this IP within the next 30 seconds if I can, and you've got 30 seconds. And perhaps they just want to test it first, right? Like, what is this? Yeah, so that's the one thing that I would say would add a lot of value to get that option very clear. Yeah, Adriana.
Hey guys.
You have the floor in your own hole.
Do you? I'm not saying for you guys to do this right now, but remember that at some extent, there are a lot of tools there that you could be using for sponsoring transactions. One of the issues with burners, burners are beautiful, but yeah, impatience on users is paramount. So the thing is that, yeah, sometimes it's not enough because you don't have funds there, and you have to instruct people to have their first funds there to just, spend, minting or whatever. So one of the things for both of you that could help is sponsoring transactions at maybe at least the first time, right? Which, if you do wrong, it's a terrible leak of funds. It's very easy to make an exploit around this. But if you do it right, it's kind of beautiful, like combining burners with or some sort of GC solution for one-click wallets plus sponsoring transactions. Whoa! It's nice. Of course, there are more challenges ahead. It's never easy, but there are things possible. I've just introduced one feature that allows things, very crazy things. We still have to test it with a real use case because, in theory, it was working when I released it. But it's what I like to say, remote control. If you're on the GC channels, you know that I announced this. Remote control will ultimately allow to just even reduce the burner wallet solution to even just something even simpler and more powerful, because it allows you automatically to solve sponsored transactions. Everything on the same solution. So it's very powerful. It's challenging because you need to be clever on how you will be managing these sponsored transactions to avoid exploits. But once you are there, you are there. And yes, in this case, we are talking about custodial a custodial service. It's custodial, but maybe it's custodial what? The first transaction, because it's sponsored. Maybe we can do something to avoid it being sponsored. Maybe we can combine, burners with, multi-sig UTXO consumption. So you offer some UTXOs, and matrix you just validate if you want or not to give them, right? To offer them for the first time for a first timer user. I don't know. I'm just throwing ideas, but I hope the lack of a rigid CIP here or standard will allow you guys or anybody else to find that right solution for each of them. That's the idea. Yeah.
You just got me thinking a lot on this. So I think there's a potential here to have like the easy onboarding experience. Maybe like, how we have those tool tips pop up, and maybe on your back end you have a database of login sessions, right? So you see if there's a stake key that is signed in before or whatever, and if it's a new user, it runs a check like, hey, do you have a wallet? Yes, no, or whatever. And then it takes you onto like, if you hit no, there's like an onboarding process where it takes you into a sponsored mint for your first one. Then after you're able to create this, it takes you in to the onboarding of a Cardano wallet process. So it's like, cool, you've already minted the first wallet. Here you are. Now you take custody as like a second optional step, like make your own wallet now. Like, you want the power that we've afforded you, like take it on. And then now this stake key or the stake address can no longer do that onboarding process. Right. So like it that is like you hijack that to be the onboarding process as well. Right. Because if they've already gotten what they wanted, I think it's more likely now they're going to create that mnemonic. Whereas before you're trying to get them to create the mnemonic, and then like the what do you call it? The mint is the collateral, or it's like, you have to do all of this and then you get your mint. And here it's like, oh, you get the free sample candy, but like you want the full chocolate bar. Here's the rest of it, And I think that might be a little bit more conducive to onboarding. Just an idea from what you're suggesting there, Adriano. I think you're onto some great ideas there.
Thank you. And guys, if you're interested in this, just let me know. I'm really looking forward for a demo application that put this concept to test, because it's super new. And I even was thinking on the legal issues regarding custodial services. But I don't know what would happen if you establish a multisig with the service provider. And if the service provider has the same rights as you to spend those funds, you have the rights to eject any fund there as soon as possible, because it's a multisig and you have the right to just spend without asking permission to the other side. That's the tricky part with the custodial service here, with the service provider here. But this will allow the service provider to sponsor at least the very first transaction. So it's like an ejectable wallet, custodial wallet, an ejectable custodial, if I can say that.
Couldn't we?
I don't know, throwing ideas.
Couldn't we leverage Unimatrix somehow here to where we just have a transaction, a multi-sig transaction that would only be signed if certain criteria? It's a non-custodial wallet. So we have the ability for a new burner wallet to sign a transaction, submit it to this application treasury, right? And only if this transaction meets the certain criteria, maybe in the metadata there's a nonce, and Unimatrix checks the transaction body for the presence of this. Now, only if this transaction body is present, it signs this transaction. So you now have a way to basically force people to go through a certain front-end validation to submit these transactions, and then only those multi-sig transactions would be signed by the application if those criteria are met, right? Couldn't that be easily facilitated that way? And then it is not custodial, or it's non-custodial, right? Like we could do this so the burner wallet technically would be able to sign for the mint. There's obviously the application would have to have a treasury and then own this policy or whatever script address has to already be set up there. But couldn't that easily be done with Unimatrix, with something like that?
Yes, I guess so. Yes, there is always. I mean, we have to remember. We have to check the exploitation side of this. This is the only thing that concerns me always a lot, because you would like to combine some social logging here, and even then, because you can create like a trillion fake addresses on some services. Addresses. I mean. Emails, for example, or accounts. Yeah, I mean, if you take care about the exploitation side, the exploit side, yes. Actually, if I may, I will share screen very quickly. I can show the new feature and how you can leverage on that. It's not that hard. Let me see. So are you watching?
Yeah, it's a black screen currently though, for me. Oh,
Yeah,
there it is.
ID.
There it is.
It's okay? Okay. Oh, I should not use this for whatever I do. that address, that wallet was meant for something else. So, okay, this one. So I don't know if I have a simple example of a workspace, but I will try it from there. One multisig. No. Okay, what this will do? Yes. Okay. Share treasury. Okay. This is the definition of a workspace. Remember, workspaces is this feature from here, right? Where you can have from multiple child accounts or even multi-sig setups or a combination of both. For personal or script-based addresses. The thing is that the last feature I introduced, this is how you this function with load config. This is how you apply a recipe for designing one of these or more than one workspaces. Right? There are groups of keys, private keys or addresses and other kind of items, which I called artifacts. So for example, if I get inside this one, like a folder, right? I get here all these child addresses, right? And I can just switch, use this one, right? In single address mode. If I click on default, which is the what that comes by default on each wallet you import, you always have one, right? The main address. Okay. So how do I create one of these thingies, of these workspaces? By calling load config and passing an object like this of type workspace, right? And here I designed one workspace, which is, it has like an internal name, which is in this case DAO, for example, and it has a description and a title. If I run this, I don't know what this has here. exactly. But I want to show you what happens if I run it. Okay, and that's it. So now we should read thou on the list of workspaces, and we have it here, right? Max, but I have another window with a similar amount of tabs open. I'm a mess. Okay, Max was joking about the amount of tabs I have open on this browser. So okay, this is workspaces in action. This was a shared treasury, so here we have the address, for example, from the shared treasury. The thing is that the new feature that I introduced, if you remember how you sign transactions with GC, which this is why I have this other example here. Sorry, it changed. I was looking for, this one. So when you sign transactions, you can pass a multi-sig strategy. You define the order and the plugins that you want to use to sign this transaction. So one plugin is the main address, which will use like account 0, address 0, pair of stake and spending keys or payment keys. The current workspace, like if you have a lot of addresses here with a lot of actually private keys, we'll try to use those from the workspace. And this is for multisig. We connect with the roundtable network, if we want to say like that, and with the Unimatrix network, like you guys are doing with other moments. So this strategy here, we can just set it by default on this workspace. You can say, I guess the syntax was like this. If it was not, we can check later on the docs. But you can instruct that for the signed transactions functions by default for multisig strategy, which is multisig property, you can just pass that strategy that we just copy from the other example. Meaning that from now on, every time you are going to be signing, you're selecting this workspace as current, and you will be signing any kind of transaction, by default, this will apply, this strategy. And why I'm talking so much, where I want to go with this. Okay, here is where you can say, and I don't remember the syntax, was peers, I don't remember, maybe Max can remember better than me, but I think it was peers or something like that. Here, where you, this keyword is killing me again. Come on, it's not that hard. That's here when you put your Unimatrix relay peers. Here you can say, imagine that you put whatever, blah, 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 but you put your service, right? You put your service here, like my signing service, whatever. In other terms, if I would remove this here, for example, and I force that every transaction will be tried to be signed by this peer here, I have like a custodial service that will be signing everything that is triggered, that is every transaction that is signed using this workspace. I don't know if I was clear, but that's the new feature, and this is what you can do with it. Like you can design a strategy for automatically making a custodial service or somebody else to sign transactions on GC, like a back office window to a custody wallet address, something like that. And so with this, you can sponsor transactions. And remember, this script that installs this workspace, once again, is a QR code or a link. So we are saying that with just one link, you can allow sponsor transactions and and a solution like this.
Question: in the example you had there, you used the current wallet, like the get current workspace or whatever, right? If you were to define that with the actual name, could you like have it point to that specific workspace always instead of like where it says current workspace? Like,
sorry. Yeah, that's okay. Good question. So these are signing plugins. I say multisig, but actually are signing plugins. Some are multisig, some not. These two plugins here are for personal addresses, personal wallets. Main address, remember, are the basic pair of keys you have on any NAMI-like wallet, right? Single address. With the first address, you have the main address. But current workspace will try to use any keys from all these addresses that you will have listed here on this current workspace. On the workspace that is the user is currently navigating, right? That's the explanation. This answers your question, Sudo, or not?
Half answers it, because the other question is, could you define that to be a specific workspace?
Yes, but because to avoid tricking the user to do, to fall into doing something weird, the way it works is by actually asking permission for the user to switch to a workspace. So you can say switch, whatever you want to use there. And here you say type, I guess it was set current workspace, and I guess the syntax was ID and the name. For example, in this case, we could say, imagine you, of course, you want to sign with the DAO workspace. This is the internal name. So you pass here DAO. So if you do something like this, you first, but come on, this is different because this we should split this probably or something like that. The idea is that if the user, maybe we could do this at the end of the script. It makes more sense. So like this, you first let the user install or set up this workspace, and then you ask the user to use it. That's what you're asking. So from here and on the timeline, the user will be already on the DAO workspace, like I am here. And there is where, if any new transaction is being executed on the multisig strategy, now we'll try to use keys from this workspace.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, no, because this is just the import of the settings. This isn't like interacting with anything really. Yeah, I see.
it's like this is like the pairing. Remember when you do multisig sudo, when you share to all the peers to have the same workspace, you share this pairing link.
Right.
Is actually the pairing link is actually running this function and doing something similar.
Right. Yeah, no, I guess I was thinking more in the case of when you're interacting with it, like to build the actual transaction later, but then here you've already put this to be the workspace that, yeah, no, I was thinking about this at the wrong step. Like the math checks out now, basically. Yeah, I guess I wasn't realizing that this was the wallet import and not like a transaction under that. So no, context. Yeah, I get it now.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a bit complex because it's very futuristic, but yeah, every time then if the user do a transaction, every time the user will do a transaction under the DAO workspace, by default, unless the user override it, this will be the strategy that the user will be using for signing. So by default, if the user do not know anything about GC, don't want to override anything, by default, this will be the order in which every transaction will be signed. First, we'll be checking here for those that keeper. Then we'll be checking on the current workspace, which because you instructed here will be DAO unless the user once again change it, right? And then finally, the next thing is that you can let somebody else through Unimatrix be signing these transactions or co-signing. Maybe if this setup right now, like this one, it's a combination of self-custody signing, which multi-sig or external signing. Which this is cool. You can have a mix of a custodial and non-custodial service because it's ejectable, probably.
So, real quick, this approach is sharing the workspace. Let's assume we don't want to share the workspace. All we would have to do is build this transaction and add that we want the key from
Exactly
the
like
other,
here.
the main one, right? So like technically you wouldn't even need to have them import the workspace, right? Technically, say we want the user just to be able to mint a token under this script address, all we would need to do is build the transaction to include our signature, right? So don't even have to give them this shared workspace. We just have to, in that transaction, let it know that we need another signature, correct?
1,000,000,000,000% correct. So this is the example. This is what I was copy pasting from here. Imagine here you are building this transaction, the number, I don't know, build 3, right? This transaction, you build a transaction which will add on required signers Charles, which can be Charles, our Charles. So then on the sign function here's where you can instruct the exact strategy you want for this transaction. If you pass build 3 here we are signing 3 transactions at the same time, right? And the build 3 is complete here. So this is this is exactly what you were asking, like a multi-sig strategy only for a custom transaction. Now, this is important. This only works from a DApp side. Like a DApp should trigger all these scripts that we are reading here. But on the case of this example that I was showing with this new feature I introduced, we are saying by default, this user, every transaction will be signing, will have applied, will be abiding or running this multi-sig strategy by default. This is the difference. Here is for every transaction unless overrided. And here is only for, I don't know, build 3, build 2, and build 1. Okay? That's the difference. And that's how you can do the same solution for
I love
sponsoring.
it. Yeah, I know, I get it. I'm totally seeing it. Beautiful. No, like, dude, you have given a lot of great ideas here, and now you have just given me more work. ARP radio will never be done because there's so much cool capabilities to leverage. But no, this is awesome. This is awesome.
Thanks, Adriano. Yeah. Sorry, I've been doing a couple of things, but I understand the approach here to the workspaces giving flexibility. Thanks for showing that. Guys, I have to drop, but talk soon. Thank you.
Take care, Max.
Thank you a lot. Okay, so yeah, that's the new addition, and yeah, I'm hoping to test it. I don't have time yet to try it out with a a good example use case, but be my guest. So if RP radio is going to use it, if not, it's okay. Don't feel forced. It's a lot of work, I know. Well, guys, I guess for today we are okay. For those who don't know, we have an issue with the streaming once again. It's very confusing because this vehicle tool we are using is not explaining us exactly that we are broadcasting, transmitting to dev null in Linux to nowhere. So every time we are trying to broadcast to make this live, we have to double check because we don't actually know what's going on. So we miss some of the live. I don't know, guys, if you have something else. Otherwise, we can wrap here.
Yeah, no, it's lots of work to do. I'm excited to see where the Dandelion stuff ends up, and then we'll have updates with GC Connect and everything else going on the Game Changer experience side. But yeah, on my Postgres initialization seemed to have worked. Granted, I'm on SSDs, so it's probably less performant than what you guys are experiencing, but with a little bit of patience, it seems to go through. And same thing with the coding on the ARP radio things. It's just like, maybe if you think it takes 15 minutes, give it 25.
So my Postgres is
all the hardware, so it's very common for me for waiting alone. So it's okay, guys. I don't panic.
so I get an error on my Postgres when I'm looking at the logs, and it says that where is it at? Checkpoints are occurring too frequently, 26 seconds apart. It says consider increasing the configuration parameter max wall size. And I posted that in the Discord, and yeah, and I'm just sitting here watching. Yeah, like my Postgres container now is 260 or 200 gigs or whatever it is, 200 and change gigs, and it's just slowly getting larger, like real slow.
Did you restart it from scratch?
Yeah, I deleted the container per Adriano's command that he posted in the chat, and then I went back, brought the container down, did Docker compose down, did the Docker container remove for the Postgres, then brought Docker Compose back up, and then did the Dandoman script. Checked the Docker status, everything was up, and then ran initiate Postgres, and that's where I'm at now.
That's super weird.
And I'll show you the share my screen real quick.
You know, Martin, can you? No, because wait. Let me understand something, Martin. The last pull request you applied was changing this Postgres version thing on the setup.
No,
I know.
I don't touch no Postgres settings. No, I didn't. I only updated the patches I did was only updating new versions of what is it, Ogmios and GraphQL.
And the
Because
Unimatrix.
they were necessary, but like doing this wall stuff, no, I don't touch it.
Okay,
If
but
I did,
maybe-
it's a grave mistake on my side. But on the other hand, I only made changes to the documentation.
don't feel I'm not blaming. Please don't. I'm not blaming. I'm just
No,
trying
I'm
to
just saying.
maybe guys, maybe the version issue that we faced with Postgres, where when you're installing Postgres and suddenly you're being asked about a configuration file location, whatever, that issue, it has to do with versioning. There are new versions of the stuffs involved here and with Postgres. That was, of course, that was an issue regarding versions. Maybe this wall issue you are having is also related to versions. Maybe we are stick to latest, and a new version has been released, and there is an issue on the setup. Because I did not experience issues like this before. And my deployment is old now. I started this last year. So yeah, I will be checking. Oh, but hey, these are from the from Postgres and are infinite.
No, these are the ones like that's the command I use. That's in the chat. The Docker's logs -f dandolite -mainnet -postgres -1.
Okay, but I mean, but these logs are appearing all the time, meaning that this, if this is getting stored on the disk, probably this is the issue you are having. Like you are having.
Yeah, that's why I shared it with you, because I don't know why it's doing this. And
It's checkpointing all the time. It's crazy.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. Makes sense. It's a bit slow to fill the drive, the disk as you've shown before, but maybe it gets worse. Okay.
I mean, I can leave it running and see what happens, because I mean, I'm at 264 gigs now on the home drive, which has got both of them running. I think the pre-prod is stable. I haven't messed with anything on that since I synced up. So, I mean, I can keep the mainnet one running. And just kind of see how long it takes to fill it up. But I don't want to burn out my drive either, because
yeah, of course. This is my biggest concern because it happened to me, so I get you. It's terrible, and you will not know exactly that it's ruined your drive until you start having very weird random issues that makes no sense, and it's because of inconsistencies on the data on the disk. Hey, I'm not sure regarding these checkpoints. What I mean, if it's a normal thing from Postgres, or maybe Postgres is restarting, or somebody is forcing Postgres to take these checkpoints. How can we get the version of the Postgres database? Like, Martin, do you remember how to log in and check the version?
Well, you can log into the shell and then do.
Yeah, for instructing Radio to do it, because to
Yeah,
double check if we are running the same versions.
Yeah, I'm already in
Should
the.
you log into the database to check the version? I probably. Yeah, I can't run Postgres as a command. It's probably in
That's
the database somewhere.
I think that could be the reason why we are experiencing differences in the setups.
Didn't you check in the YAML, or is it in the .env that you configured it as?
Yes, also, but I was thinking on that for being super secure about what's the actual version, because the YAML actually is it's a bit tricky. It has a builder stage. Let me see.
Let's think.
Like, I don't know if the log is like, if this is worthwhile information or not. I was just trying to figure out how to see what was going on with it.
It's weird. And the service is not restarting, right?
I mean, everything is up. Everything's up on the Dando man check on the Docker status. Everything is up, and everything's running in glances. All the processes appear to be running. I mean, there's 5 instances of Postgres that were idle. I don't know.
Wow.
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
constructing something to log into PSQL.
Martin, the fix you mentioned is merged on main. So at least we have that change to at least as a clue of something that changed from the legacy setup.
Did we change the wall parameter?
These are all the. This is the commit history.
Where is that?
On the chat, I'm sharing you in the chat. This is the commit history on main, and there are a lot of commits from you lately.
From me?
Mm-hmm.
But not regarding this.
April, March. Okay, March. Yeah, maybe are things from documentation, of course, are mixed, but this is everything that we can compare with.
No, but Adriano, I like what I did was I only fixed the PG curl and PG admin, and the rest is all just commands to or commits to the documentation.
Okay.
And I set HA proxy config. The other things I didn't do anything.
No. Don't worry. Don't worry. I mean, I'm just trying to understand what's going on, because yeah, it's weird, guys, that it's everything is getting weird lately. I don't remember what this. There.
I posted a command to log into your Postgres database. It's called, this command is PSQL. And then you are able to do queries in your database.
Sent him the command to check the version, and it's the same one that I'm using. He said it's 16.1 that he has, and then that's when I run that kind of same thing.
Oh, you can do select version.
You're doing it in PSQL.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
did it outside of it. Yeah.
Am I sharing my screen? No. Well, I can show. Look, Adriano, this is my version.
Oh, okay. Can you put your versions on the chat or somewhere? 16. I think that's okay.
Yeah, we have it up in the chat. Yeah. I posted the command too to.
It would be interesting to see, Adriano, what version you are running.
Sure, we'll be running the same command.
He's running 18. He's in the future.
I'm trying to.
I got the same thing you have, Martin. Let me see. Select. Let me see. What was that? Select. Yeah. So there's mine. The same. Yeah.
The version should not change. Okay, guys, sorry, I was double checking some stuff.
So when we did, kind of on a tangent, when we get Postgres initialized and we do that curl, we should just get that empty object, right?
Who are you asking to?
In anyone that's
Yeah, that's what I got. Was an empty bracket.
Yep. So the one on the initialize Postgres step, like after, once it says once you reach tip to initialize Postgres, right? Once that script and all that indexing finishes, it gives you that curl command, right? And then the result of that, when I run it, is always that empty object, just the curly brackets, right? But it's empty.
Yeah, I'm having the same output as as radio, I guess.
Yeah, we're all on the same version for SQL or for Postgres.
But there is a difference. I mean, it's wrong what we are doing with Radio. We need to know the Postgres SQL version, which I don't know why, but that command is not.
Yeah, put it in there.
visible. It's not. Except Postgres. But this is for entering. Okay, maybe it's not.
I asked ChatGPT.
Why, guys? Okay.
Oh, that's interesting. Show max wall size.
So that's in the.
My wall size is 1 gigabyte.
Show max wall size. Let's see.
Can you share the command here?
Yeah,
On the chat?
please do.
Actually, remember, guys, to put every important thing from the chat on the Discord chat, so we don't lose it.
And like it's writing, like the wall size. It's like the current central write ahead logging. It's used to ensure data integrity. Controls how big the wall segment can grow before Postgres triggers a check. Checkpoint is when flushes dirty pages from memory. But I have like 128 gigabytes of memory. Why should I flush memory with 1 gigabyte? Maybe it's a little bit.
I'm at a gig also on mine.
You can actually change it.
That's in. Is it in the environment file?
No, but you can like if you
In Postgres,
check
yeah.
check screen, the way I'm running commands, you can log into PSQL and just do this alter system max wall size 2 gigabytes.
But do you think that 2 gigs is too small? Because that just we're dealing with a lot of data here. I think that's
Can you copy and
maybe
paste
even
that?
4 gigs or something. I don't know what is oh, look, it's telling you depending on your write run. If you're doing heavy values like 2 gigs or 4 gigs or even higher are common. Yeah, so exactly that. I think we might need more because I think we qualify for.
I think we should go to 4.
4? Yeah, I say at least 4. Yeah,
at least. Yeah, because this is checkpointing every second. It's too much.
So,
that causes a lot of writes to your disk.
That checkpoint, what is doing? Actually persisting information that is like on RAM.
Yeah,
exactly. Once RAM fills up to a certain point, it does the checkpoint. So
but it's okay. I guess that should be quick. Otherwise, we are risking losing something.
well,
Maybe
that's a fair point.
But yeah, maybe we should increase the memory as suggested or something like that. But I guess the frequency is okay because it should be as frequent as possible for a Postgres database, I think.
Here's what I'll do. I'll do a separate local deployment and I'll play around with that. I won't mess with the one that's already synced and everything, but I'll like see if that increases any kind of performance as far as Postgres is concerned. But I think that's this is onto something here.
I'm not sure this doesn't matter that much because in the end it's just sending the data that is supposed to go to disk, only more frequent.
Right. It has to go to disk eventually. And 2 gigs of data
It's not. It's like,
What
yeah,
about
well,
8? What about 8 gigs? Pushing it to 8.
I think incremental changes, like let's see what 2 gigs does. If we can experience
yeah,
some dramatic changes there, it makes sense to see it. If we don't see any improvements from 1 to 2, that's a doubling. Then I
but
think what Martin is saying is true. That like ultimately this has to go to disk anyway. So like we're basically kicking the can down the road, right? Like okay, you're just prolonging how long you have to do this task.
but
So I don't
yeah,
think it really is gonna actually increase much.
but Postgres is saying, hint, please do it. Let's just do it until the message disappears. I mean, it's not
So
a developer didn't put that there for no reason.
so like what I put